Hi, this is David Addis from ESP Games, and I'm back with another developer video to show you how we create some of the levels in Miasma 2. So, for Miasma 1 we had a very similar mode to this, which was a kind of level editing mode, and for the sequel we've really improved the accessibility of this tool, and we've made it show a lot more information that's useful to the current level that you're editing, and we've made it much more able to place things easily in the world. So this is level 4 from Miasma 2, and currently I'm a bit unhappy with it really because it's not quite exciting enough. What happens is the player spawns here, and you can see these are the units that the player has, so it's actually one of the more climactic battles because they get a lot of units on the field. And this is the enemy, and these coloured lines are their patrol routes. So as you can see, what happens is that the enemy moves towards the centre of the map, and the player would probably move up to join them, and then it's their objective just to destroy them all. And this is fine, you know, this will work as a functional level, but it's not quite, it doesn't quite have the sense of urgency that I want to get across for the whole game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it more of an objective-based mission, and what's going to happen is that I want the player to escort these tanks up, maybe through some sort of snaking route. Maybe they'll take some sort of S-shaped path through the level, and then try and reach some sort of extraction point here. And what I can do that by moving some of the objects around, creating some new walls, changing the go and no-go areas, and prettying it all up at the end by adding some extra decals, like these bits of detail you see with the damage or blood splatters here and there. So this is the main editing mode, and this just lets me see some information about the units that are on the field, and also to move them around. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bit of space here, and I'm going to select Paul. I do that just by pressing enter, and then move him over there. I think I'll do the same with Eric, just M to move units around. I think I want to move these tanks up a bit, so maybe if I move Paul there and Eric there, that gives me a bit of leeway to move that tank, something like that. Kelly, I'll just move here. She's got a repair ability, so it makes sense to keep her near the tanks. And Lena can move maybe there. That makes a sort of vaguely nice formation. Cool. I do need to create just a bit more space, I think, so I'll select this unit and move it, well, this building, I say, a bit further in like that. Now, one of the new features we've added for Miasma 2 is the ability to place objects by selecting them just from a drop-down list, just to make it much easier to put multiple objects in the world. And Pete added a feature where I can press F2, and I hope the audio didn't cut out as it was just loading a lot of the models there. I can press F2 to enter this mesh placing mode, or object placing mode, and if I hit shift, that lets me pick from a drop down list of all of the various meshes that we've got available in game. So what I'll do first is actually just delete some of these extra things that I don't want in the level for now. I might replace some of them later though. I'll just get rid of this and then worry about tidying everything up afterwards. This building is fine. I really want to exploit its little pillars here. So let's just, for now, move it. Okay, it's probably a bit unwieldy to move, so let's just delete it and re-add a new one, and I believe it's this building here. So it might have all looked a bit crazy there for a second because it's drawing some very big meshes right in front of us. But yeah, let's put it here in line with some of the fence, and then we'll worry about making it match up with the curb and some other things. So yeah, that looks about right. We'll exploit this bit of area so it won't be quite so impinging on our space. Maybe these tanks, I'll just hop back to unit editing mode. I might just move them over just one square or two. Yes, that makes things a bit tighter, but it should be fine. Maybe I'll just put him there. Great. as I said, the curb can be edited as well. So if I go into the paving mode, what I can do now is just paint on the paving just to make it really nice and easy. And Peter's added this feature where I can now just paint it on, and it instead of having to draw each of these grid squares using a bespoke mesh of some sort, it's now created procedurally, so it devises the most efficient layout of polygons to cover this entire area. So I know that it will just use one big flat poly to represent the area underneath the building. So shall we? Yeah, okay. Let's be thorough and just paint around this whole building now. And as you can see, it's really nice and easy. I just drag over the whole area. It's very quick and convenient to put on. Excellent. I might actually just trim it back a little bit because I don't think I want curb where it doesn't really make sense to have curb, but I will have it over this final lip as well. I'll just put some there. Okay, I think that looks really nice. So I'll obviously have to move that drain because it doesn't look right just in the middle of the road. Now, another feature we have is to paint on no-go, and no-go is the area where the user isn't allowed to move. So I'll just delete that old bit of painted no-go, and then what I want to do is I want to make this area passable. What the game usually does is it finds the bounding box of these buildings and every object in the world, and then makes the entire bounding box no-go. And this is a very good start, but objects like this, which have got complex geometry and geometry that we might be able to move inside, I actually want to force it to be navigable by the player. So let's go into force allow go mode, and I'll just make this whole area actually usable for the player. So now they'll be able to run through. The slight problem is that they now will be able to run through these pillars, which I don't want. So I'll just delete the squares which have the pillars in. You see, they might not match up perfectly, but I think that'll be fine because when a player is standing here, they still won't be clipping through that bit of pillar, and likewise here, because they don't go up to the edges of their own square. But I think if I say this square, they can't go in. That's going to be fine. Now, what I have a knock-on problem here, which is that when the player is standing here and they get shot, they won't get any of the benefits of cover. So I'll now go into force cover mode, and I'll just surround these squares with force cover. And this is really, really handy because if you can imagine, I might have to do this. I'll make that bit force cover as well, and actually maybe there's this. Well, they're not really in cover there, so no, let's get rid of that. As you can see, this is much easier than if I was hand editing an XML file or something. I'd be here all day. So I'll just save that out, and that fixes the procedural curb around here. Right, so I've started making a start on the new layout of the level. I will want to seal up this bit of no-go as well, so what I'll do is I'll just force that to no-go, and that will just prevent the player from escaping out of here. I don't really need that, so I'll just delete that bit of forced no-go. And now this is back in the general editing mode, and you can see it's saved out what the new no-go and cover squares look like, and that's starting to look really sensible. What I don't really want anymore is these meshes in the way. I'm going to make this some sort of wall or some sort of impassable terrain. So I'll hop back into cover mode, and I'll just delete these. And I do this just by selecting this mesh and using the delete key. And what I really want is some sort of something that you can see through, because I want the player to be able to see their objective all the time. So I won't make a huge wall or just put a very thin building here. I'll use some of our barbed wire meshes because they'll be partially transparent, and they'll achieve the desired effect of just blocking passage. I might just delete that lamppost for now because it doesn't make a lot of sense it being there on its own. And the barbed wire, so let's grab the barbed wire mesh. It's around here. So I've got a couple to choose from, so I'll just go with this basic type for now and just sort of put a fairly random arrangement down. Yeah, actually, okay, I've done that a bit sloppily, so I'll just tidy up my work there. Don't think I like that one there. Let's fill in the gaps with this other bit of barbed wire, and something like that makes sense to me. Yeah, that looks good. I might just want to extend the paving around here, or get rid of it up here. So I'll hop back into paving mode and just delete that much of it, I think. Yeah, that. I'll save that out. Yeah, that's starting to look better. Yeah, I think I can still improve it a little bit more. But yeah, that will do for now. And then what I want the player to do is have to proceed through here, squeeze through this gap, maybe go around here. So I want to create another impassable bit of terrain around here. Let's delete this force go that I put in earlier and go back to mesh editing mode. Yeah, I think I made some force no-go there, so I'll just fill all of this in with, well, I'll use a couple of pipes now to create some extra interest. And what I can do later is go in and just tweak their rotation values a bit more as well. Let's see, what else have we got that would be an interesting thing? Let's use some high-tech things. We could put down a couple of consoles, something like that, and we do have a lot of those in the game already. So I think we could use some benches or just some piles of wood. I'll put one in anyway, just to make some more interest, I think. Yeah, I'll just stick that there. And then what would be maybe a ruined car. Probably don't want to put the entire sift base in, but yeah, something like this. Let's put that there, and then rotate it later to give a bit more interest. These benches are now just getting in the way, so let's kill those. This pavement, does it really make sense in its current arrangement? I'm thinking not so much. I think I might get rid of some of these gaps in it. So let's pop into paving mode and just trim it back. I think it might be alright with that lip there, but let's just tidy that up too. Yeah, let's get rid of this one. In fact, I might just make the paving echo where they've got to go, more or less, because that makes sense to me, that you dump pipes and impassable bits of object on, on the curb, on the side of the road. Yeah, I'll keep trimming this back as well. So let's save that out, and now we get an idea of how this is coming together. Yeah, so I've shown you paving mode and cover editing mode, and these are really useful tools. But the main sort of meat of the level is fighting the enemies. So what I want to do is move some of these guys. So I put them down earlier with their own patrol routes, which are these coloured lines. But what I want to do is just move them closer to where the player starts. So he's engaged by the enemy all the time. So I'll move that mech over there. I'll move this one, and that one too. And are they equidistant? Yes. What's happened is it's just it hasn't shifted their patrol routes with them, so I'll just trim them down to no patrol route at all, and then figure out where I want them to go. So I'm just hitting D to delete an object on the field, or its latest patrol route. I'll select that one, just using enter, then just give it a couple of patrol points to move forward, and that should give it enough of a sort of impetus to spot the enemy, or the enemy being the player in this case, and he'll probably be moving forwards in this direction. So that's cool. What I really want to do is encourage the player to use this bit of cover here, so I might just I really want the player to spawn in here, and then maybe they'll exploit the cover as they go. So actually, I think I'll move Kelly behind there, and then it'll be more obvious to move her in that direction. Maybe Lena as well, because she can take cover behind here and snipe. In fact, Kelly, maybe she should stick with the tanks, actually. So let's keep her back there. Paul off to the side as well. Although I should probably try and remember that Paul and Lena are interchangeable, so when you play the game as Lena, it actually swaps out their characters. And Eric, I'll move over here. Yeah, either to sort of drive up this right flank or keep Lena company, I'm not sure yet. I can always write the conversation later to make it fit in if I want. So that's the first wave of enemies done. I think I'll want these tanks to be there from the start so that I can say the player needs to reach this location here. And I can actually press G to toggle the grid. Actually, I thought that was going to add a marker. Yeah, okay, well I'll come back to that. I'll add a new goal marker for the player later. But I want these enemy tanks to be there from the start, so I'll make these wave 0, and I do that just by pressing 0 on them. 3 might be a bit too much, so I might reduce their number to 2. These guys, they're slightly in the middle of nowhere at the moment. I think I want the enemy to spawn from the side and behind the player. So perhaps what I'll do is I'll just delete all of these guys for now. What would be really exciting is if the player gets here and is just about to engage these enemy tanks, and then some sort of threat spawns from behind him. So let's assume that yeah, these guys are here from the start, and then maybe something will spawn. It'll appear to come out of an alley like this. So let's create some enemies here. I do this just by adding a character, putting it on the field. Let's put down a couple of stealth mechs, I think. So yeah, okay, I've cycled through pretty much every character there, but let's go back. So I think it's the smaller mech that is the stealth mech. It doesn't have its stealth appearance activated at the moment because this is the editor mode, and I want him to be wave 2, I think, so the third wave, and I'll change his faction to enemy, and I won't bore you with the details, but I'll add a couple more of those later. What I also want to happen is for when the player defeats these, I'll make it spawn wave 1 when they've all been killed. So I'll make wave 1 appear right behind the player, which will be perhaps a nasty surprise, but I think for now it's worth trying out. So let's see what happens. I'll spawn just some normal troopers behind the enemy there. So that's I want to make him wave 1 and faction enemy, and I'll probably make another one. In fact, I might make 3. Excellent. So it's sort of very starting to take shape now. Sort of get an idea of where the player is going to progress. I still need to sort out. I think I'll delete these patrol routes for the tanks. Oops. Okay, I accidentally deleted the tank itself. That's no good. So we just want to add a new vehicle and make him enemy faction. Okay, I unfortunately at the moment have to edit the names through XML, but that's something we definitely want to change. In fact, we're thinking about releasing this editor to the public for people who want to make their own Miasma levels. I think that would be really exciting, but we obviously need to improve the UI a lot because it depends on a lot of insider knowledge of which keys to press at the moment. And you still need to edit the XML by hand to add triggers and conversation prompts and very specific objectives. but we can at least lay out the geometry of the level and build it and then really tweak it to make it more fun as we go. Okay, so I think I've still got some work to do, and I'm sure you don't want to watch me do the whole thing, so I'll wrap it up there for now. But I hope you've enjoyed just seeing a bit of an inside look into how we create some of our Miasma content. And yeah, we're really nearly finished with the game. This is the last level I'm tweaking, and we really want everyone out there to enjoy it, and we want it to be just the most fun indie game we've ever made. So thanks, and I'm David Addis. I'm from ESP Games, and really hope to see you again soon. So thanks for watching.